Welcome to Apocalypse Unveiled, the podcast that dares to explore the unthinkable. What happens if a zombie apocalypse starts? I'm your host, Baibo, and in this podcast, we will embark on a gripping journey through the hypothetical world overrun by the undead. Join us as we unravel the origins of zombie lore, dissect survival strategies, and analyze the human psyche in the face of unthinkable horror. From the ears moans of the undead to the flickering hope of survival, we will dive into the science, culture, and fears that make the zombie apocalypse a tantalizing subject of both fascination and dread. So lock your doors, sharpen your survival skills, and prepare to peer into the abyss of imagined catastrophe. This is Apocalypse Unveiled, where we confront the darkness and explore what it takes to survive when the world falls apart. So this intro is actually made by ChatGPT. It is quite a good work, but scary at the same time. So we're starting right away in this podcast. So if we talk about zombies, where did the word zombie come from? Well, it has its origins in the Hightown folklore, where its people actually use the word zombie with N and not M. Yeah, keep that in mind. Which has its root to the Congo word zombie, Nzambi, meaning spirit or god. So they use this word as a describing an animation of a corpse brought back to life using magic through a sorcerer or something else. The term zombie refers to a fictional creature which is more popular in movies, TV shows, books, and especially games. This creature is associated with a hunger of human flesh or maybe brains, but it does not exist in real life. But we will talk about it, and we will see what happens when it actually appears and what to do, of course. So we have talked about the definition of the word zombie. Now we will be talking about how does a person become a zombie. So a lot of people think that a zombie is a cause of a virus from an experimental gone wrong, but it's not actually a virus. So a lot of people are wrong about it, but it is actually a parasite. So if we want to get to the details, can't talk. We will want to have a comparison between a virus and a parasite. Well, both of them actually got similarities, like using the corpse cells to produce and spread inside and outside of the corpse and infect other people. But both of them got differences. A virus uses and kills the body, but a parasite uses the body but doesn't kill it. Instead, it keeps it alive and it can get it a little bit stronger. So where does the parasite come from, or the zombie parasite? So it can never be created with a false experiment, but it can be found deep in the ice, in the nature, especially on the ground, deep in the ice, as I said, in the freezing area, because a parasite cannot live in the cold without the protection of its host, which is the zombie. So if the zombie parasite gets into someone's body, the zombie disease officially starts. But it takes some time for the infected person to become a zombie, because the parasites need some time to take over the immune system and the nerve system of someone and to move to the brain area to control the brain. So now, how does someone know if that guy is a zombie or not? Like, he could be standing right next to you and you will have doubt that this guy is zombie or not. Well, let me tell you, someone being a zombie could be pretty much obvious. He can have a decaying body with slow, clumsy steps, driven by a hunger for human flesh or brains, vacant, lifeless, eye peer out from sunken sockets, and its skin is actually pallid and rotten. So emitting low guttural moans, and a zombie relentlessly pursues its prey, showing no signs of fatigue or fear. So that's a pretty much bad thing. Now let's talk about how bad the zombie disease is. So by the look of it, it might seem pretty much bad, But if you actually compare it to other diseases, you might see that it's not actually that bad if we know what to do about it. So to really know how bad it is, we gotta compare it to another disease that we've been through. And the most simple disease that we can compare with is the coronavirus or the COVID-19. So starting with the way to know if someone is infected or not. When a person has coronavirus, you can't know if he's infected or not by the look of him. But you will start doubting when certain symptoms appear, like coughing, sneezing a lot, or maybe breathing hardly, but you still can't be sure if he's infected or not. But if a person has a zombie disease, you will know immediately that this person is infected, only by the look of him, because he will have weird colored skin, unusual eyes, and weird slow movement towards you. So you will be able to see if that person is zombie or not immediately and be sure about it. So that's a good thing. But you won't be able to know if a person has COVID or not at that moment. You will still won't be sure about it. So that's a winning point for the zombie disease. And secondly, if a person is infected with coronavirus, you can easily get away from that person. And of course, he will try his best to not infect you. But if he's a zombie, well, it will be way harder for you to run, because let me tell you, zombies are a fast runner. Yeah. So that zombie will try his best to infect you. And Now, what happens at the first infection? Keeping in mind that the zombie disease is a fast spreading disease, the first infected person will try his best and his hard work to infect the closest human being to him. Security will try to catch that zombie, and the hospitals will try to do the researches on him. Now, the most interesting part of this podcast. What should we do if a zombie apocalypse actually starts? Well, the first person becomes zombie, few other people get infected, the sirens went on. What should we do? Well, there is a lot that should be done here. First, everyone, meaning survivors, should run quickly to their home, and they should also lock it very well from the inside, both the doors and the windows, especially the windows. Secondly, the special forces must siege the infected area quickly using armed soldiers and the military gear, and they should also inform the siege people to stay at home, and if anyone tries to go out, he'll get eliminated without hesitating. Thirdly, the forces must start putting pressure on the area by pushing forward and also inform the people to stay at home and that they will be eliminating everyone, no matter if they're infected or not. Fourthly, the food, the electricity, and the internet access, the gas must be provided to the people for no cost just to keep them living. Fifthly, a green line must be made for the sieged people to make them able to call the forces just in case of a zombie incident happens or any other emergencies. Sixthly, the forces must start tightening the siege area until they reach the center while eliminating the threat. Seventhly, when the threat is fully eliminated, the forces must stay at that area for at least 40 days to make sure nothing else happens and without letting anyone in or out. After all, things should get back to how it was. So now, what if we didn't manage to actually win this zombie apocalypse, or we actually lost the zombie apocalypse? So a few things tend to happen, like first one, human extinction. If humans are unable to contain or survive the zombie threats, it could lead to the near total or complete extinction of human species. Zombie being relentless and driven by insatiable hunger for human flesh would likely overwhelm human defenses. Collapse of civilization. A zombie apocalypse will result in the rapid breakdown of society and civilization. Basic services like electricity, water supply, transportation will cease to function as infrastructure deteriorates. Also, mass panic will happen. Initially, there would can talk, there would likely to be mass panic as people try to flee or defend against the zombie hordes. This panic could lead to further chaos and loss of life. Human resistant groups. Some pockets of survival might form resistance groups, barricading themselves in secure location and attempting to fight back against the zombies' threats. However, resources will be scarce and survival will be challenging. Loss of knowledge and culture, the loss of human life and collapse of institution would mean the loss of vast amounts of human knowledge, culture, and history. Libraries, museums, and archives could be destroyed or inaccessible. Also, environmental impact with the collapse of human civilization. There could be various environmental consequences, like nuclear power plants, for example, might fail, leading to radiation leaks. Pollution from abandoned industrial sites could harm the environment. And last thing, actually, potential zombie evolution. So, depending on fictional rules governing zombies, there might be the potential for zombies to evolve or adapt over time, making the situation even more challenging for any remaining survivors. So, as we wrap up this chilling journey through the hypothetical world of the zombie apocalypse, remember that this podcast is a mere exploration of human imagination. While the undead might haunt our fiction, the real world poses its own challenges. We hope this podcast has poked at your curiosity and prompted some introspection, or perhaps even prepared you with fewer survival tips, just in case. But for now, let's return to our reality, one where the living, not the undead, roam the earth. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this thrilling ride. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Above all, keep your imagination alive. Until next time, this is your host, Baibo, signing off from Apocalypse Unveiled. Goodbye, everyone.